Hello, hello again. It feels like such a long time since I have come and addressed you on camera here on YouTube, and it feels like the time. I was getting the push to do a general collective reading today to kind of tap into some of the energies and be seen and show my face and connect because I have been feeling very low energy and kind of hermity and sensitive. Yeah, like really wanting to pull my energy away from the world. And I feel that is very related to a lot of the shifts that the masculines have been going through. And as divine feminines, we have been called to be very supportive to that journey that they're on. And this can all happen unconsciously if we're not really tapped into the energies. But the way that it can kind of manifest in our 3D reality is feeling very tired, feeling like we need to keep our energy very protected and very high vibrational. So there's like this draw to stay away from anything that could prove sticky. Yeah, so just kind of like, going out into the world and engaging with a very low vibe person or someone that has like a lot of negative energy, and you just being around that, and all the stuff that's going on in the world, like really needing to protect our energy, protect our bodies from a lot that's swirling around. So that being said, I personally have been feeling really, really tired and really, really low energy and trying to take really, really good care of myself. Not eating out, eating like, which I hardly ever do anyways anymore, but, just like eating home cooked meals, drinking lots of water, moving my body, yoga, practicing, I do like floating. So getting in like a float tank, which has been really helpful with kind of the ascension pains I've personally been experiencing. I was feeling really good for a while, and now body-wise, and now I'm back into pretty extreme neck pains and shoulder pains, and kind of back pains and like skin issues. Really dry skin, really like irritated skin, just really, really sensitive to the environment. And it's the body pains in particular are really bizarre because like they come on, and I know that they're emotional because of how they come on. They're not connected to like a workout or an exercise I just did, right? So just keep in mind, that whether you're a divine masculine watching or you're a divine feminine watching, we're very, very connected to each other. And that does manifest in the body, and that does manifest in our energy levels, because it is all energy. And the masculines have really been in tower moments, both internally and externally, going through difficult sort of piecing back piecing back their lives, right? Kind of, there was a recognition of like, wow, everything is out of alignment in my life. It's not quite my true authentic self, as I'm uncovering who that actually is. And I'm recognizing that all that I have kind of going is really not me, and it's not my path. So there's been this recognition of what their true path is. There hasn't quite been an awareness on how to move forward, or like what the next right step is. So it's not that they're super clear on like, here's my mission, here's what I'm supposed to be doing, but they're really clear that what they've been doing is not correct. And but we've all been there on the journey. Like, that's a beautiful place to be on the journey. It can be a very challenging place because the ego so much wants to know and wants to be able to grasp and have like a direction, especially the masculine energy. That's, the masculine energy within all of us. That's the one that drives us on the needing to know, needing to fix, needing to have a plan, needing to strategize, all that good stuff. But so there's been this rebuilding. And there's been, once you do recognize that things are kind of out of alignment and not quite how you want them to be, there is a period of kind of growth. It's not like things just kind of fall into place really quickly, because I feel like that is the point where we really are tested on our strength, and where we're tested on our resolve. The strength card has been coming up so much for the masculines, we're really tested from spirit, like, okay, are you sure you want this? Like, how bad do you want this? How committed are you to this spiritual path? How committed are you to your sovereignty? How committed are you to your growth? And I'm sure if you're a divine feminine watching, you've been in that place and you've experienced that over and over and over again. I know for me on my journey, I mean, I've been brought to my knees so many times and really tested. The tests for me really come in the form, at least where I'm at on this journey, I don't get tested with my masculine as much anymore. It's more my test of faith in God, because I have put all my trust into the Creator, into spirit, and I don't act unless I'm guided to act. So when things feel kind of challenging or sticky, or things aren't going the way that my ego wants them to go, my first place to get upset is actually at God. It's actually at spirit. And I've been having to kind of rework that in my history and my past and figure out, like, where does that come from? Is that a past life? Like, what is the root of that? And that's been a really interesting journey to have to kind of surrender to. I'm going to grab my notes really quick. I did a really awesome reading yesterday where I was kind of asking spirit, like, what is the guidance for the divine feminines at this time? And by the way, I don't even know if we'll get to the cards today. This might just be an energetic update, because I channel these messages without the cards, and the cards are really confirmation for me. So but I think you guys enjoy these, so just letting you know, we may not get to the cards. We might, but we might not. But I was asking spirit, like, what can the divine feminine be doing to really assist as these shifts and changes and this awakening is occurring for the divine masculine? Because a lot of them are awakening to not even just this connection and the twin flame journey, but they're awakening to the world and kind of the matrix, and they're seeing beyond the veil, and they're seeing kind of all of that stuff that maybe you had been talking about in your connection the whole time, and they were kind of like, okay, and maybe they like listened, but they didn't really like get into it, whatever. The divine feminines really always, maybe not always, but we do have this gift of seeing beyond the veil, so it's very easy for us to be able to see beyond the illusion that occurs in the world around us at all times. And this is kind of where the masculines are, of like awakening to this. So obviously that's a lot. That's a lot to be going through at once, on top of like inner child healing, on top of, all the other stuff that's occurring for them, like awakening to like this connection, and holy shit, what is this? Like, did I really just miss the opportunity with the person that I'm made to be with? Like, did I, it's a lot. So I feel that at this time, the divine feminines are really being called to obviously surrender, surrender, but to be in this really unconditionally loving, kind of mothering, nurturing energy. And it's not mothering and like fixing and controlling and telling. No. We are far distanced, but we are holding space and sending love at this time as much as possible, and really making sure that our energy is clear and clean in support. And as we're doing that, if we're really doing that authentically, it will kind of detach us from them. Because if you're not communicating and you're not engaging in the 3D, and then you're surrendering and you're sending love, that will inadvertently kind of release you from the obsessive thoughts or the chasing energy, or the kind of like that manipulative, trying to control energy, which is when sometimes you will find yourself wanting to reach out when you weren't really guided to reach out, but you did it anyways, those types of things, because you wanted a reaction, you wanted to get a response, it's that type of energy. And I found myself really, really removed from that energy, and I'm sure a lot of you in this collective have felt that as well. And so we're being asked to kind of just hold space. And so it's not coming from a place of well, fine, screw you then, I'm over it. It's not that, because that's also kind of chasing, that's also a little bit not in the light, right? But it is just this, I love you. I hope you're doing well. I'm sending you healing energy. And I know the best thing I can do for you, for me, is to take incredible care of myself. And that will be passed along to your masculine with that channel, that connection that you guys have. So anyways, in this reading, I was asking Spirit, what can I be doing with my energy at this time? And I didn't write down the cards. I just wrote down the messages, so I won't be able to tell you the cards. But I do feel like it was Queen of Swords energy. But it's really discernment. And a message that I got, and this may be like, you may not like this message, so you can take it or leave it, but I got, be a bitch when necessary. Be a bitch when needed. And meaning there's a lot of challenges and sort of tests occurring in our outer external world. And I don't mean be a bitch to your masculine. I mean to the world around you. We've been getting tested. The divine feminines have been in a testing ground. And so in the effort to protect our energy and to protect ourselves, it may be few and far between when you do engage with somebody out in the world. But if you do, Spirit is almost kind of setting up appointments, if you will, with people that are testing our resolve and our strength and our ability to embody that Queen of Swords energy, that discernment. The Queen of Swords does not suffer fools. She knows her power and her strength, and she's divinely guided, and she can be warm and loving when she needs to be. But when that Queen of Swords energy is kind of called upon, it's not about that. It's about sending a message and letting people know, you cannot penetrate this. You cannot get to me, and I'm not going to consent. I've actually found myself repeating that mantra, like, I do not consent to this, often. In certain engagements out in the world, I literally said it to a woman out in the world who was kind of a horribly toxic energy that I knew immediately was, and I was already very guarded and in that Queen of Swords energy, and the situation sort of escalated in like a customer service situation. And I literally said to her, I am not going to engage with you in what you're trying to do. I do not consent to this. I just need you to do what you're supposed to do as a customer service person, and I would like to leave and exit your energy. And I was just and like in the past, I might have gotten more emotional. I might have gotten more engaged, allowed her to engage me in the energy that she was in, which was defensive, which was victim, which was, attack and really dark energy. And I was very sturdy in not going there with her. And then later I actually found myself, because I'm, as divine feminines, we're very self-aware, we're very tuned in, and we're constantly like, how can I grow? How can I be better? How did I approach that situation? Was I in the light? Was I maybe in my ego? We're constantly checking ourselves. And so I was going through that process, and there was a part of me that was very, oh shoot, was I rude? Was I too much of a bitch? And that's that conditioning, that's that societal conditioning. Like when we as women in particular, when we stand in our power and we say, no, this is a strong boundary, it can be read as, oh, we're a bitch, and how dare you like have a boundary? How dare you, you know what I mean? Like set that up for yourself. And the clear message that I got from Spirit was, no, you need to get more and more comfortable with embodying that energy. And that's something that Spirit is going to be trying to teach you at this time and testing you with, to make sure that everything you've learned in this time, you're going to be able to protect it and keep it safe. Because with the things that are going to be coming, we've been in a hibernation, we've been in an integration, both twins really. And what's going to be coming is like rapid change, rapid advancement, and rapid kind of being in the public eye, being out in the world, being on mission, a lot of engagements. We're going to be interacting a lot, especially as twins start to come into union. Interacting with the world around us is going to be a big part of that. And so Spirit is wanting to make sure that the divine feminine is strong in her resolve and able to embody that Queen of Swords energy when necessary. So you may have felt like you've been tested in this section of your life at this time. And the message is discernment, being able to be very cutthroat when necessary to protect your energy. And it's not coming from a judgment place. It's not coming from a victim feeling defensive place. That's how you know you're in the right. Is your intention coming from a nope, I do not feel safe with your presence and your energy, and I'm shutting that down? Or are you feeling threatened and attacked, and now you need to be defensive? Because that's kind of the difference. It's one or the other, and there's always an energy that's kind of instigating and kind of trying to move it into lower frequency. And so you can still be in high frequency and be in a situation like that and just being very kind of detached and very, nope, here's my wall. You cannot penetrate it. Yeah? So that was a really specific message. Be a bitch when necessary, honestly. The world is in a crazy point at this time, in this conjunction, and if your intention is love and light, fantastic, but the world is not love and light. So you need to be very protective of all the work that you've done and all that you've cultivated, and not allow lower energies to drag you back down. Okay, so that was a message that can be very supportive to your divine masculine, to your connection at this time, if you're embodying that strength, and that's going to help them really be in that strength and the karmic sort of cleanup that they're going through at this time. Also, we got the message, act as if, and I did write down the Four of Wands and the Sun, so I must have pulled those cards. So this is an idea with manifestation and visualization. It's all about, it's all about acting as if it's already here. And I know that can be difficult to tap into, because the trick with visualization and manifestation is it has to be genuine. You can't fake it until you make it. Okay, you really do have to tap into that energy and that feeling of what does it feel like when I'm in the presence of my twin, and we are in harmony, and we are in that higher frequency with each other, and we're perfectly balanced, and it's the presence of the divine, truly, because the way that the twins are meant to operate, the way that they're meant to interact with one another is in their divinity. So it feels like you're in union with the divine, because you are. So acting as if you're in that state, even without the 3D counterpart in your space, because you are there in the 5D. And if you can drop that down into your third density experience, you're going to magnetize this to you a lot quicker. And this goes for anything you're manifesting, okay? Anything. It doesn't have to just be this divine love. But obviously those of us on this journey are really interested in these connections coming through in the 3D. And I think by this point in the journey, we've learned it's not for the romantic love. It's for that connection to a higher love. It's a spiritual love. It's being in union and one with the divine. And we can experience that within ourselves first. We actually have to experience that within ourselves first. And a good way to do that is acting as if, okay? So whatever you can do, and there was actually another message that was kind of similar to this one, and I don't remember what card. I think it was it might have been a wands. I think it was a page of wands perhaps, but it was about creating and finding the adventure, the passion, and the excitement in the now. So even if you feel very isolated, you're in this hermit space, even if you are very disconnected from the world around you because you're being guided to be, so honor that. Even if, you feel a little stuck physically as far as where you can go, in wherever you live in the world, restrictions and things like that. How can you invoke excitement and passion and joy in your now moment? So even if it's, I'm going to go to the shops and I'm going to get myself a fruit that I really like, and it's a fruit I haven't had in a long time, and I'm going to enjoy it outside on my back balcony, or I'm going to zhuzh it up a bit by putting, you know what I mean? Like, I could go on, but I think you understand what I'm saying. It's like reinventing the mundane. Find the excitement in the things that you already do. It's really the simplest of pleasures. Like I just saw this candle, so I light this candle a lot. When I first got this candle brought me so much joy and excitement. I think I may have mentioned it in a video the first time I lit it because it smelled so good. And then it becomes normalized, and then it becomes kind of the mundane, and I just light it, and it's my ritual candle, and I just use it. But you forget about that excitement and that joy it gave you in the very beginning. So how can you invoke that in the now? And that goes along with this act as if. So it's really, if you, the divine feminine, your divine masculine may be in that tower. They may be going through a lot of pain and darkness. And they will feel your light, and they will feel your excitement and your joy and your energy unconsciously if you're embodying that, and you're embodying that love and that Empress energy. And these are some tools. These are some tools to doing that, to really finding the joy in the small things, you know, smelling the fresh cut grass, listening to the birds, waking up, you know, it really is this idea of gratitude. But I'm just kind of trying to take it a step further because we hear that all the time. And sometimes we get to a point where we're like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Just be grateful, right? But it's like adventure. You know, maybe you get in maybe just going for a drive and listening to music, getting lost, allowing yourself to get lost. I've done that many times on this journey where I have nothing to do, no one to see. And I'm just like, but I need to get out of the house. And I'm like, I'm just going to let spirit take me on a journey and just not have any directions on, and just where am I going to go, right? Maybe for you, where you live, maybe just getting on a subway and just, you know, taking it as far as it's going to, whatever. And acting as if you are already experiencing what it is that you're desiring. So if that is this union, if that is divine love, be in the presence of that, hold that. Have that with you. If it is abundance, be in an abundance mindset. Even if that means buying yourself like a $3 bundle of flowers because that's a luxury, right? It's these little things. It doesn't mean you have to break your bank to pretend you're in this, because it's not about faking it until you make it. It's not about pretending. And really, these are the concepts of manifestation that I'm speaking to, which many of us probably know and are aware of, but it's being like in a beginner's mind, and learning how to bring that back in, and how do I learn that again, and how do I keep the excitement alive and real, the passion, because as a divine feminine, we're fiery, we're passionate, we're, you know, that's part of our magic, that's part of our gift, and if that goes dim, it does affect our connection. And I know that we've been in this kind of void portal, this darkness for a long time. And I think spirit is, I know, this is the clear messages I'm getting. Spirit is saying, how do you reach the next level? You embody this, and you act as if, and you keep finding the nuggets, because if it's like we're in a training ground, if we can train in this darkness, in this void, if we can find gratitude and joy and excitement and adventure, even when we're not even leaving the house, even when we're not in that, like, all humans want to connect and be with other humans. So even if we don't even have that opportunity right now, how can you still feel connection? How can you still feel loved? How can you still feel whole and full in your own space? And that's what we're learning. It's like a training ground, because what spirit is saying is like, if you can do this now, you're going to be able to do this no matter what goes on out there. We're definitely being prepared for what's going to begin happening out there. I will say that. And I don't say that to scare anyone, because I feel like we're going to be so transcended that it may be affecting everyone else, whatever's coming, but it's not going to affect us, because we're in this training ground now where we're going to be unfazed, and we're going to be able to be a support to others because we've gone through this period. Okay, that's been a really strong separate message, but it's like we're being prepared and we're being trained. And so anytime you're feeling tested, it's because you need to be so strong on that. And you're going to be really grateful and glad that you are for whatever's coming. Okay, connecting to your twin in the 5D, in the higher realms. That's a big piece as well. That was a lot of guidance on how we can support from spirit at this time, how we can support the divine masculines and what they're going through. And it's so funny. I had no idea this is where this message would go today, that it would be like really for the divine feminines, how we can be supporting the divine masculines in their sort of shitstorm, for lack of a better term. But I'm glad this must be the most relevant thing, so I'm I'm just going with it. But connecting to their higher selves, because the unions are really strong in the 5D right now. The masculines are awake in their 3D, in their 5D. They have been, but where they're at in their 3D is kind of that 4 of Cups and that 5 of Cups. Like, I fucked it up. I ruined it. I shit all over this person. So they're really down on themselves. They're really not feeling worthy. They're really not, that's part of this, like, why have you not heard from them? Because obviously they're going through a lot, but there's this like lack mentality and this pride and this shame and like, how could I face this person that I, you know, because they're really in that illusion. They're in that illusion, and what we know and we wish that they knew is like, that had to happen. The separation had to happen. Spirit put you to sleep. You didn't know better. It wasn't your fault. Literally. I mean, that's where I'm at on this journey. And some of you may be there, some of you may not quite be there, but you kind of get it. But it's really just this awareness, this message has been reiterated to me over and over and over again, that everything they did, whatever pain they caused you, was only for your growth, was only for your ascension, and their 3D selves had to be asleep in order to do that, because they would have never done that. They never would have done all those things, right? So their higher self was really, and these were all things that the two of you kind of like planned together. You really like planned this journey out for one another in your higher selves, like you did, and you knew what would come. So in that sense, for the divine masculines to be holding themselves to this super high standard of like, I ruined it, that's a very kind of 3D lower perspective way to view it, and they'll get there. They'll get to the higher perspective. That's, I think, what spirit is kind of working with them on now, is being able to forgive themselves and to recognize that that's how it had to be. Because once that clicks in, that spiritual awareness, that higher knowing of like, this is the journey. The journey is you meet, you recognize, you feel home, you know each other, and then you get a little bit of time of that honeymoon, and then spirit puts the masculine to sleep because the feminines gotta go do her work. And for most of us, it's about getting on our mission. It's doing our mission work, and we won't do that if we're in this honeymoon lovey-dovey. We just won't. And then once the feminines have kind of done that work and they've healed a lot of those old wounds, then the masculines can wake up and they can start their awakening process. And then the feminines have to stay steady. So there's lots of tests and learning and expansion in that period for the feminines, because we think like, oh, it's go time, let's go, come on. And then nothing happens and nothing happens and nothing happens, and then we get tested in that, right? So anyways, it had to be exactly how it was meant to be. So that was such a tangent, but it's the masculines are being really hard on themselves about that at this time, and they're really working to release that so that they can be in their confidence and power as the emperor. So connect in the 5D, because that's where all the love is, and that's where you can really send a lot of assurance and a lot of peace and a lot of, it's not like stroking their ego, but it is encouragement. It is like forgiving them, reminding them, I forgive you, you know? And some of you are really incredible at this, and some of you, I think this might be a little bit more uncomfortable, but really feeling their presence with you all the time. Yeah, that's kind of what it means to connect with them in the 5D, really being able to have like full-on conversations, really being able to feel, because it is a higher realm, and when you start to accept that is, just because it's a higher realm that you can't see all the time doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means it's not where you're attuned to, and we're not really taught about it, and it's not really spoken about in our society because it's really discouraged, because if we are up there, well, we're in our sovereignty and we're in our power, and they don't really want people in their sovereignty or their power. But that's a conversation for another day. Anyways, let me reel it in and get back on track. So, connecting to your twin in the 5D, okay? And again, you can't fake it. You can't fake it until you make it. You genuinely have to feel that. And opening yourself up to those higher realms through meditation, through your spiritual practice, whatever it is, through intention setting, that's going to invite them in. And that's going to be really, really supportive. Also, this is like a no-brainer, but how can we be supporting them? Connecting to nature, connecting to Earth, Mama Gaia, connecting to her energy. She is the eternal mother, allowing ourselves to be held, rejuvenated, revived by her. When we feel that, she empowers us to be that mother energy for others, even if you are a divine feminine who's a man. If you're a divine feminine, you hold those mother nurturing, nourishing codes within your body. And so you are meant to be that for others. And you can only do that when you're being held and supported. And for many of us, we've realized that we do not get that from our human mothers. We just don't. As much as we love them, that's not what their path is for us. That's not what they offer us. They offer us a lot of teaching and healing. But Mother Earth, she is our eternal mother, and that is what we can be connecting to for support. Getting out in nature, walking barefoot on the grass, on the soil, hiking, swimming, I don't know, whatever you got to do, just feeling the sun on your skin, tuning into, connecting with your pets, animals are connected to Earth, your plants are connected to Earth. So in any way to connect. And then the last message for the divine feminines is around how can you support your divine masculines at this time is deepening your study. Deepening your studies of the tarot, the astrology, perhaps, whatever the spiritual principles are you're being called to, the chakra system, maybe you're being called to more like body, Ayurveda, like whatever it is, deepening your studies as a divine feminine, because I guarantee you, if you are a divine feminine and you resonate with this journey, then part of your mission here on Earth is to be a way shower on one of these spiritual paths, and it could be anything. So something that is connecting you to that high priestess energy, something that is a gift that you have that no one else has. It's very unique to you. Okay, perhaps you channel, perhaps you can tune into the Akashic records, perhaps you really can channel astrology and the moon and the stars and what's going on with the planets, perhaps, yoga, right? Like whatever it is, I guarantee you, if you don't know what this is already, I guarantee you that there is something in there that is lying dormant, ready to be awakened. Some of you are already on that path, and that's beautiful. You're already in service. You're already gifting the world your gifts, and that is where Spirit wants you. And I feel that Spirit will keep you in this hermit place until you really dive deeper into that, until you learn all that you need to learn there, not that you'll ever learn all you need to learn, but until you really reach the heights that Spirit's needing you to get to before this union can occur. So connecting through meditation, and connecting to your guides, and they will give you those breadcrumbs. They will give you those little hints on the journey. Okay, go here. Okay, go here. And just anything in the esoteric studies. Perhaps it's the occult. Perhaps you're being called to really understand what's going on beyond the veil in our world. Don't linger there for too long. It can get really dark. But, whatever it is that you're being really called to, the reason we're in this place and the how we make the best use of this time is unlocking the higher knowledge, the higher truths, the esoteric principles. And as we unlock these, you guys, you have to understand, you unlock it also for your twin. You are connected, you are one soul. So anything that you're doing that we just went over in this time frame, that is empowering them. A lot of the masculines are recognizing that whatever work, business that they have, or the work that they do in the world is actually not their path at all. And they're realizing this, but they're in this place of, well, what the fuck is my path? Like, I don't know what it is then. And there's a lot of stress and anxiety there, especially as the divine masculine energy. The masculine energy wants to be a provider. It just does. So They want to have that success. They want to be creating, and their purpose is so important to them. So as you deepen into that, you're going to empower and unlock things for them, because maybe you start learning about this thing over here, and through that channel, some download gets channeled to them, and it awakens their mission and what they're supposed to do, okay? Or what they're, the next part of their journey. So all of this is going to be very, very supportive. I think because these messages were so clearly for the Divine Feminine, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little channeled session with myself for the Divine Masculine, and I'll do kind of like a flip-flop where I'll do how can the Divine Masculine be supporting the Divine Feminine right now, because this information feels really important, like a little bit more weighty and necessary than the like, what are they doing right now? How are they feeling about me? What's going on in our connection? When's communication? And I get it. Trust me. Like, we want to know. I get it. But this is more how I want to be focusing my energy at this time. And I'm sure if you've been tuning in with me, you're in this collective with me, and you resonate. So this is how you want to be focusing your energy, because we're really after that higher love, which is a love of self. It's a love of God, and therefore our counterpart is manifested. Period. Point blank. That's all it is. We're not, the twin flame journey gets such a bad rep of like, it's these obsessive people that are just like after this person, and trying to manifest a specific person. And it's like, no, it's with that person that I awaken to the love of the divine. Therefore, I'm on this journey and I'm not letting go of this person. And that's by design, because when you experience that, you've never experienced that with anyone else. And so that's by design, so that you don't ever let this person go. As bad as you want to, as hard as it is, as much as your ego is challenged at every turn. This is why neither the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine can let the other go, because you're not meant to. And it's because you touched the divine in your connection. You felt the presence of being back with your creator, with the divine, which is what we are all wanting, whether we know it or not. Okay, beautiful. I'm like, do I want to pull a card for you guys? I will. I'll pull in a quick little angel message for you guys. And then we'll leave it here, because this has gotten kind of long. And I had no idea this is what it would be today at all. I just knew I needed to come on and talk to you guys. And I think I'll do a video like this, perhaps this weekend. I'll try and get it done this weekend, for just flips for the Divine Masculine. So if there are any Divine Masculines that are watching, that'll be supportive to you. And then if you are a Divine Feminine, you will kind of get to feel what the Divine Masculines are thinking and feeling, and how to support you. Wow, I love that. Oh my God. Okay, so this is Archangel Raziel. I'm bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. Yep. So literally the last point I was just talking about, deepening your understanding, these spiritual truths, this esoteric information. As a twin flame, as a advanced soul, we're here to bring this. We're here to gift this. That's why we came. That's why we left the ethereal plane, where we were always in union with our beloved and we were always connected to the divine. But we decided to leave that to embody this density, these human bodies that cannot do all the things we used to be able to do when we were in the ethereal. But we came because we knew we had a mission that was more important than our bliss. It was more important than our contentment. So this is what we're being initiated into right now. And I know this is something that the masculines are just starting to step into and like think about and feel into. And as divine feminines, we're the leaders. So this is what we're leading our connections into next. And it's like when these things click into place, and I can't tell you how long that's going to take or what has to click into place. I don't know. That hasn't been revealed to me. But there are things that need to click into place for both of you so that you can come together with your gifts and your awareness already online, and then watch incredible crescendo and like magic flow when you do unite with both of these online for each of you. And leadership, bottom of the deck. I just wanted to peek. I always like to look at the bottom of the deck. So this is Archangel Gabriel. It is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. Yeah, that's it. That's it, twins. That's it. You both are here to guide others with these gifts and this information and this spiritual knowledge, because you are warriors of the divine. You are the divine's, I don't like why the army is what I'm hearing. I don't like that. But that's just how they're giving it to me to explain it to you. You know, like we really came on a mission because we would have not left that for any reason other than, okay, I guess we're going to go help humanity now. We're going to go save the world. We're like the real superheroes. I feel like people watching this who aren't twin flames would be like, wow, they think so much of themselves. But it's like, honestly, it's just the way to explain it. Like, all right. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all your support, your likes, your subscribes, your donations, booking sessions, reaching out to me, telling me how these videos make you feel. It all brings me so much joy and keeps me going on my own journey, and I'm just so grateful to all of you. So thank you. I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend, and I'll be back with that Divine Masculine reading soon. Bye.